how bad is sugar really? It causes obesity, but we eat it for breakfast every single day. It causes heart disease, but it's in everything we eat. Why is there so little transparency about sugar? After hours and hours of research, I think I've stumbled upon some information that the food industry doesn't want you to know. This video is broken up into 6 parts, so feel free to click around to whatever seems the most interesting to you. Let's get started. Over the last 500 years, sugar has transformed from a luxury product worth its weight in gold to a substance you can't escape. Here's how it happened. In the 1970s and 1980s, a meta-analysis was published about the horrors of fat and the danger of cholesterol. Completely terrified, the American population instead turned to chemically processed low-fat alternatives. Obviously, without the fat, the food would have tasted awful. So what did food scientists add to make it taste better? You guessed it, sugar. Now the population was scarfing down heart-healthy, low-fat yogurts, ready meals, and low-fat peanut butter. Great. Although, hold on. Did anyone check who funded those studies saying fat was bad in the first place? Damn it. Yes, sugar companies villainized fat in order to raise their own sales, and it worked so well that I bet some of you still believe that fat makes you fat. It doesn't, by the way. Let me ask you a quick question. What do brownies, pasta sauce, and salad dressings all have in common? They're all food, yes, but they're also all filled to the brim with sugar. Desserts, when we eat them, we know what we're getting into, but why on earth is there sugar in pizza and bread? And it goes so much further than just this. 80% of all food in supermarkets has added sweeteners in them. This is because of something called the bliss point, the intersection of the perfect saltiness, sweetness, and fattiness of a food. It's the real reason why you can't put down that bag of Cool Ranch Doritos or stop binging on Taco Bell, even when you want to stop. It's not a problem with your willpower, you just physiologically can't stop because of how rewarding it is to eat. The sugar industry knows that you're so addicted to their food, you won't stop eating it even if it makes you sick. And that brings us to today. There's been a direct correlation between the explosive rise of obesity and sugar consumption. Type 2 diabetes rates have also skyrocketed as our increasing insulin resistance poses a huge threat. Heart disease, cancer, it's all reached a critical point. Yes, sugar makes us very sick, and there's absolutely no denying. On that happy note, let's make some banana bread. I've always been a huge fan of baking, but I don't believe that desserts have to be unhealthy. In fact, they can be pretty nutritious. While we're talking about sugar today, I'm also going to be making some sugar-free banana bread, which I'm very excited about. I've never tried out this recipe before, so fingers crossed it turns out good because I'm going to be giving it to my boyfriend when he comes home. So let's get baking. We've probably all heard people say, calorie is a calorie, or 2,000 calories of fast food is the same as 2,000 calories of whole food, which obviously isn't true, but it's even more than just the nutrient breakdown. Your whole body has different digestive processes for every food you eat. Without going too far into the biochemistry of it, fructose gets metabolized by your body in a way that actually produces more fat. Let's say you eat a potato, which is composed of glucose. Glucose is the body's preferred energy source. When you eat a potato, most of the glucose is metabolized by our bodily cells, and only 20% goes to your liver. Only about 1/50th of the glucose from the potato will turn into LDL fat tissue. This is the fat that causes heart disease. On the other hand, let's say you eat a Snickers bar, which is composed of fructose. The majority of your cells are not capable of metabolizing fructose directly, so almost all of it is sent to your liver. This results in a much higher percentage being turned into VLDL fat tissue. This can cause a number of problems like weight gain, insulin resistance, and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So no, not all calories are created equal. By now you're probably thinking, well, isn't there fructose in fruit? And yes, the sugar in fruits is fructose. So should we not be eating fruits then? Before we start freaking out, let's rewind it back. How could anyone compare a natural fruit grown from the ground to an ultra-processed Coca-Cola with ultra-refined sugar? It just doesn't make any sense. Let's think about it logically. What is Coca-Cola made out of? One bottle of Coke has 65 grams of sugar with 0 vitamins, minerals, or fiber, just straight up high fructose corn syrup. Now, a banana on the other hand has 14 grams of sugar and is packed with fiber, potassium, vitamin B6, vitamin C, and a ton of other minerals. The fiber is the most beneficial part of fruit because it slows down sugar and fat absorption. Fiber is also what keeps you full, which is why it's basically impossible to binge on apples or carrots. Or bananas. One small caveat I want to mention, juicing. It's so fun to make juices sometimes, and trust me, I love to juice. But just looking at it from a logical perspective, when you're juicing, you're taking out most of the fiber. Even though it's obviously a lot better than just drinking Coke or something like that, it's still not perfect. To avoid this, you can still make smoothies or just eat the fruits whole. Just eating one apple makes you feel so much more satiated than if you were to drink 3. If this banana bread recipe turns out really good, I'll link it down below for you guys to try out. Spoiler alert, I quit sugar almost 4 years ago. It all started with my doctor, aka my dad, making a deal with me that he'll pay me $100 if I stop eating sugar for 30 days. I had really bad acne throughout all my teenage years, and my dad thought that sugar might be the culprit. It wasn't an extremely pleasant month, dealing with headaches and cravings, but at the end of the 30 days, I was $100 richer, and my skin had cleared up a bit. From that point on, I never went back. Fast forward to now, my skin isn't always perfect, but it's so much better than it once was. At this point, you might be thinking, well, that's great and all, but I could never. I like sweets too much. And well, you might want to strap in for this one because this is my history with sweets. I actually grew up in a very health conscious household. My sister had a chronic hip inflammation, so my mom actually put us on a raw vegan diet when I was growing up. She became more lenient as we got older, but the one thing that never was allowed was sugar. But I loved sugar and I would devour it whenever I could get my hands on some. In fact, one Christmas, my dad received a jar of Nutella as a gift, and I actually stole it and ate it all in one sitting. It was family size, by the way. So no, I don't have crazy willpower or some X factor that helped me quit. Anyone can quit sugar. You'll feel so much better, more energized, less cranky, more satiated, and the list goes on. Although sometimes I still do want a sweet treat. So what do I do then? Sweeteners. I just put the banana bread in the oven. There are some sugar alternatives that are better than others, and then some that I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. My favorite sweetener is raw and unfiltered local honey. To be honest, I had to do a ton of research on honey before I felt okay with eating it, because I always thought it was just like sugar. Turns out though, when it's properly sourced and not cooked or filtered, honey has a ton of health benefits. It has a low glycemic index, contains antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, and it's super anti-inflammatory. Another good option obviously is fruits. I love sweetening things with fruits. Bananas are probably the most versatile in this. You can make ice cream out of them, smoothies, banana bread, chocolate covered bananas, frozen. The possibilities for desserts with bananas are kind of endless. Another sweetener that I'll occasionally use is monk fruit. It's in my protein powder, so I kind of have to be okay with drinking it. However, since it's pretty new to the market, there aren't a ton of studies out yet about its safety. So I'm still 50-50 on that one. I typically do try to avoid artificial sweeteners. I feel like they do make me crave actual sugar. Like whenever I drink a Celsius or something, I also want to get a donut, which I never crave donuts. And you will never catch me eating the more controversial artificial sweeteners like aspartame. I know it's the most researched food supplement or whatever they say, but that doesn't stop the fact that there's still tons and tons of studies that have linked aspartame usage to migraines and depression and heart disease and dementia and diabetes and cancer, all that fun stuff. On a happier note, it seems that people are finally starting to wake up. It is so much more common now to see videos of people quitting sugar, and people are starting to eat a lot more whole foods. It is so empowering to see, and I believe the best time is now. Stop eating sugar and instead switch over to the alternatives that I've provided. If you want to start slower, maybe opt for the 80-20 rule, where 80% of your diet comes from whole foods and 20% might come from more processed foods. We can do this together.
Yeah, it was good, and I ate a lot of it.
If you need some good resources, I'll link them down below. One of them is Andrew Huberman, who I actually made a video about last week if you guys haven't checked that out already. Make sure to like and hit that subscribe button, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.